Welcome to Book Huddle. I encountered Naomi Rose recently on Facebook, and I just love that she has this great backstory, and I'm going to let her tell you about it because I love that she came up with this book. It is about how parents are like peas and garlic. So share with us the backstory of why this was created and how are parents like peas and garlic?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me on. It was such a pleasure to meet you. So the story goes, as I was telling you in the backstory, but I have a son, and we started having some challenges at home with his aggressive behavior, and it was getting to be, overwhelming. And so I sought out help, and in that help came with in-home therapy and an in-home behavior therapist. So one of the strategies that the behavior therapist was using was called a social story. So it was a way of, addressing an issue in a non-confrontational kind of way where you can relate to it. It's not you yourself, it's a character going through a similar situation. So, then switched to my son was very hyper fixated on why we couldn't live all together as a family. I'd broken up with his father before he turned 2.
Okay.
And so he kept asking why. And I was of the mindset that I didn't want to be bashing either one of us.
Of
And
course.
I wanted to remain as positive as possible, but also give him accurate information. And so, interestingly enough, I am not a green thumb at all, but my mom and my brother are.
Yes.
And so I thought about like what two things can't grow side by side in the garden. And
Okay.
when I Googled it, peas and garlic. So interestingly enough, if you put them too close together and side by side, they fight for the same nutrients and then they both die. However, if you plant a row of carrots in between,
This
then all the
very
vegetables can grow
and thrive.
and
Excellent.
thrive. Yes. So that was kind of the premise. So we're kind of like vegetables, and we're kind
Okay.
of like peas and garlic. And that way he can understand why we're not going to be able to live all together. But, and so we share him, he's with
Of
me
course.
most of the time and then on with the dad. So, and, I chose the character's main name is Hero, and Hero is another name for Gabriel.
Oh, that's
And
awesome. And
so,
that's your
yeah,
son,
that's my son's name.
Gabriel.
And
That's
so, kind of, and I found an illustrator, and he did a great job in bringing the story to life. And so, Gabriel felt like he was being a ball passed back and forth. So we
um,
we depicted that, and he has a bag that we use today that goes between the two homes, and
right.
so that's in there. And then, it talks about the peas and the garlic, and they can't be together,
Okay.
but if you give them enough space, then everybody can thrive. And there's a little fight scene, so you can see the battle that goes on.
I love
And
those illustrations.
yeah, and grandma's the one who explains it because she has the garden.
Oh,
And
nice.
so
And which
yeah,
is true for you, correct?
which is true for us too. And so because sometimes, as a parent, the kids don't always want to listen to you, but
Oh
sometimes
my gosh, yes. Sometimes I'll tell the teacher, hey, my kid's parent is dumb because moms don't know anything. Could you please say da 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 da?
exactly. And it's amazing the power of grandma. And yeah, so it goes on, and then he gets it. And then they end by what, he comes home and shares with his mom that what he learned. And he said, that night at my mom's house, I told my mom what grandma had told me. I am like a carrot. I love being with the peas, and I can't wait to hang out with the garlic on the weekends.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's so sweet. I love your backstory. I love that there was a reason. So it's very personal to you. And so I feel like that emotion is going to come out in your story when something is so personal for an author, that emotion is going to come out. And what a valuable tool that now you are sharing this with other parents and children, because oh my gosh, what a relevant topic that, it might not be every child growing up across the country and around the world, but this is a very typical thing for kids to get used to. And so, which brings me to my next thing I want to talk about. You have a second book. So, share with us about Family Recipe.
So the family recipe was just to further solidify that families can look all different ways. And it doesn't have to be a mom and a dad under one roof, because I wanted to normalize that. And then I've encountered people that have come into my life, that have, one woman adopted two boys.
Right.
And so there's that, and all the things that come with the adoption.
Yes.
And then another mom I had met, the father is really out of the picture
Okay.
and hard stop, right? And so
Right.
it lends all these things that would crop up that you don't tend to always think about, like
Yes.
Mother's Day and Father's Day and school events, and inviting, and the awkwardness that sometimes the kids might feel, the left out feelings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted everybody to feel like represented in this book as well, and
Lovely.
that you're not
Lovely.
abnormal if
Yeah.
you are raised in a home that doesn't have both parents. And
Well,
so,
oh, I just love
right,
right there what you just said, that it is no reflection on you as an individual, how you're raised. And then also that take joy in it. It's beautiful. You can't change your parental units. I mean, in the exception of abuse or something aside, but
right,
take joy in the unique situation you have.
that's right.
It's
And
beautiful.
so I likened it because I did a lot of baking with my grandmother. I spent a lot of time at her house.
Mhm.
And so I kind of came up with the family recipe as a legitimate kind of recipe. And so love is like sugar, it brings sweetness and affection. Respect is like the eggs that you treat with care and importance. Trust is like salt, too much or too little can ruin the mix. And support is like the flour, it provides a solid foundation. Safety is like oil, it provides protection. Communication is like baking powder, it can make things rise or fall. So, and I just wanted the kids to realize that no matter if they're in a current situation that
Right.
they can still have all of these ingredients within them to
Yes.
then, yes, and then later on, if they don't have what they really would love right now, that's not meaning it will be that same way in the future, that
Because the
they're not
recipe is not mom, dad, baby, sister, dog.
correct, correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
recipe are these other essential things. I just love it. And actually my children are in a traditional home that you would think of, but I find that all completely irrelevant to what they need to see and talk about. And actually one of mine is often like, I have the worst family ever. And I'm like, I'm really sorry about that. And I don't know what to tell you. I love you so much, and I'll talk about those things. And I'm like, what would you like different in a family? Tell me things but anyways, what a wonderful conversation start. I think I need this to be like, here's what's important in a family. Do you feel that your family's lacking any of these important recipes? How would you, oh, beautiful little thing, an activity you could create. What would your perfect family recipe be? So, and actually, is that something you have? Because I know you said
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
activity pages.
So
So tell me
it's
about
in
these
the back.
activity pages.
Yeah, they're in on the back of the book. We
Okay.
included like you can create your own family recipe.
Oh, so cute. Okay. And I haven't even seen that book. And so
Yeah.
really,
So, yeah,
really,
and it comes with your own directions because in the book, it's the teacher, his school
yes.
teacher
Yes.
is the character that's kind of explaining everything.
Okay.
And apparently she came from a single mom home and then her mom remarried. And so she went from like a single, kind of cake to a multi-layered cake in her
Nice.
family recipe. And
So that
so
dynamic can
and
change.
even if you didn't get the book, you could go on my website and then I have PDF files that you could print out,
Wonderful.
activities sheets for both kind of books.
Books. And so
Yes,
we could talk about it and just do the activities. That's really great. So
right. And
I love
color it in.
that. And so we will include in the link below, definitely in the description underneath here, we'll have your website where you can find these activities. And of course, also, I'm assuming you can buy the books on your website.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
they'll link you right into Amazon and
Perfect. It directs you to
also
Amazon. Okay,
correct.
because I was going to say, when I looked you up, I saw that I could purchase the books on Amazon. Okay, so go to your website, or I'll have right down here the Amazon links. You can purchase these great books to talk about the perfect family recipe, and then also how a family can have parents that are like maybe peas and garlic.
And garlic. Yes. Yeah. My parents are like peas and garlic. Yes.
That's cool. That's cool. Thank you so much, Naomi. I
You're so
love that
welcome.
you have created this and what a valuable tool out there. Naomi, I love to ask people to recommend a favorite children's book. What can you share with our audience? Besides your own brilliant work, of course.
Besides my own, but there are several. Like I do love the Garofalo because, you
Oh,
know, doing the voices,
yes.
we enjoy kind of those things. But this book, when I heard it, it was so, I don't know, it
Yes.
really touching.
You Are
And
Special by Max Lucado. Such
yeah, yeah,
beautiful words and beautiful art. Share with me why specifically, maybe top two reasons you love this book.
because I think it's so relevant to what's happening in the world today.
Right.
And so it's so relatable,
Yes.
whether you're a child or an adult, how
Yeah.
you feel oftentimes maybe less than, you are not enough. And so the author here really describes kind of the way we behave in society today, how we give people stars or dots and the judgment, and we're heavy in that, and we're not as good at giving grace and forgiveness and allowing people to be who they are and
So many
celebrating
valuable
them.
lessons.
Yeah.
What we should
Yeah,
do with our own selves about not giving stars and dots, and what we should do,
correct.
whether they're given to us or not, how we
Right.
should disregard them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I do love that book.
It's a really good one.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I'll also include the link to that book if maybe somebody in the audience does not have that one. I feel like, oh, I've just loved that one for so long, but everybody has to find it somewhere. So if you're hearing
Yeah.
it first here, the link's in the comments or in the description below. And just, share with us in the comments maybe what you think is a perfect ingredient for the family in your family recipe. Okay, thanks, Naomi. Bye.
Bye.